Karen stood outside my driveway that morning, arms crossed tightly, staring at my marked patrol vehicle like it personally violated her vision of neighborhood perfection. The sunlight reflected off the blue stripes and rooftop light bar, making it unmistakably clear that this was an official Richmond police cruiser. But Karen did not see a law enforcement vehicle. She saw something she believed she had the authority to remove. And that belief would lead her into a decision that turned a simple complaint into a felony investigation. My name is Walter Hayes, and I have served 11 years with the Richmond Police Department as a patrol officer. I work long shifts across the city and take my assigned patrol vehicle home daily under official department policy guidelines. That policy exists to improve response times and maintain visible police presence in residential neighborhoods throughout the community. For 6 years, no one had ever questioned my patrol car parked in my driveway at the end of each shift. Neighbors knew exactly what it was and understood why it was there, and there had never been any complaints. The cruiser was always clean, clearly marked, and impossible to mistake for anything other than a police vehicle. Then Karen Stevens moved into the neighborhood and immediately began noticing things she believed needed correction. She complained about children playing outside, dogs barking, and eventually began focusing her attention directly on my patrol vehicle.
Ow.
2 weeks after she moved in, I found a handwritten note under my windshield wiper after returning home from a night shift. It claimed my vehicle violated HOA rules about commercial vehicles and demanded that I remove it immediately from my driveway. I ignored the note, knowing police vehicles are not considered commercial vehicles under any reasonable interpretation of HOA regulations. A week later, another note appeared, more aggressive and labeled as a final warning before enforcement action would be taken. That was when I contacted the HOA property manager to confirm whether there was any legitimate issue. He clearly stated my patrol vehicle was allowed and that Karen had already been informed she had no authority. I assumed that would end the situation, believing she would accept the clarification and move on from the issue. I was wrong, because Karen was not interested in clarification. She was interested in control over the neighborhood environment. After finishing a full overnight shift, I parked my cruiser in my driveway and went inside, exhausted as usual. I took a quick shower, set my alarm, and went to sleep expecting nothing unusual when I woke later. When I woke up that afternoon and looked outside, my patrol vehicle was completely gone without any explanation. At first I assumed the department had recalled it, but I had received no notification of any reassignment. I called my sergeant immediately to confirm whether the department had retrieved the vehicle during the day. He confirmed they had not, and within minutes he called back with information that changed everything. My patrol vehicle had been towed by a private towing company after receiving a request from an HOA representative. Someone had ordered the removal of a clearly marked police vehicle from my property without any authorization. At that moment, this stopped being a neighborhood issue and became a serious matter involving city property. I drove directly to the impound lot where the towing company had taken my patrol vehicle earlier that day. The manager greeted me casually until I identified myself as the officer assigned to the vehicle they had towed. His expression changed immediately when I explained that the vehicle was seat-u on law enforcement property. He attempted to mention towing fees, but I made it clear no payment would be made for an unauthorized tow. After making a phone call, he was instructed to release the vehicle immediately, without charging any fees. I inspected the cruiser carefully and found scratches and undercarriage damage caused by improper towing procedures. I documented everything with photographs before driving the patrol vehicle back to my home. Once I returned, I reported the incident to my department and provided full details of what had happened. The next morning, I was called into a meeting with the police chief and a senior captain. I explained Karen's complaints, the notes she left, and the unauthorized towing of my patrol vehicle. The chief's expression grew more serious with every detail I provided during that meeting. He made it clear this was not a minor issue, but a criminal matter involving theft of city property. He immediately ordered a full investigation into the incident and everyone involved in authorizing the tow. Detectives were assigned and began reviewing records from the towing company and HOA management office. The towing company confirmed Karen had called and requested removal of what she called a commercial vehicle. The HOA management company confirmed she had been told police vehicles were exempt and she had no authority. That confirmation made it clear this was not a misunderstanding but a deliberate decision on her part. 3 days later, detectives arrived at Karen's house to question her about the incident. She attempted to justify her actions by insisting my patrol vehicle was a commercial vehicle violating HOA rules. The detectives explained clearly that police vehicles are government property and exempt from those restrictions. They also informed her she had ordered the unauthorized removal of city property, which constituted theft under law. Her confidence disappeared quickly as she realized the seriousness of the situation she had created. She had not enforced a rule. She had caused a police vehicle to be unlawfully taken and damaged. Karen was arrested and charged with felony theft due to the value of the patrol vehicle exceeding legal limits. News spread quickly through the neighborhood, and residents were shocked at how far the situation had escalated. The HOA board immediately distanced themselves, stating Karen had acted without authority or approval from anyone. Residents who once tolerated her complaints began openly criticizing her actions and the consequences she caused. The towing company was also investigated for failing to verify authority before towing a clearly marked police vehicle. They faced penalties and were temporarily removed from the city's approved towing rotation list. Karen's defense attempted to argue she believed she had authority, but evidence showed she was clearly informed otherwise. The prosecution emphasized that she knowingly acted despite being told she had no authority to do so. Faced with strong evidence, Karen accepted a plea deal rather than face a full felony trial. She was sentenced to jail time, probation, fines, and restitution for the damage caused to the patrol vehicle. She also lost her position as HOA president immediately after her arrest became public knowledge. The HOA issued a formal apology to both me and the police department for the incident. A new president was elected, bringing a more reasonable and grounded approach to managing the community. He personally visited my home to apologize and assure me that nothing like this would happen again. I accepted the apology, but the situation had already demonstrated the consequences of overstepping authority. Karen served part of her sentence and was later released under probation with strict conditions. She listed her home for sale shortly afterward and moved out of the neighborhood within months. The story spread through the police department as a clear example of civilian overreach turning into criminal liability. Officers discussed it often when dealing with HOA issues and take-home patrol vehicle policies. My patrol vehicle remained in my driveway, exactly where it had always been, now completely unquestioned. Neighbors began expressing support more openly, recognizing the value of having a visible police presence nearby. The minor damage on the cruiser remained as a reminder of how quickly things had escalated. Sometimes people believe authority means control, even when they lack the legal power to enforce their decisions. Karen believed she was protecting neighborhood standards, but she was actually violating serious laws. She saw something she did not like and decided she had the right to remove it. What she failed to understand was that some property is protected far beyond HOA rules or influence. A marked police vehicle is one of those things that cannot be touched without legal consequences. That lesson cost her reputation, her position, and ultimately her place within the community she tried to control. All because she could not accept that some rules simply do not belong to her to enforce.